All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Tonight, we're going to be talking about the Pittsburgh Steelers road primetime victory tonight, 23-18. The Pittsburgh Steelers tonight looked like the Pittsburgh Steelers. I know it still isn't perfect. Their offense still has yet to fully click, but that defense, man, oh man, that defense. But there were a lot of positives, especially considering the way the offense has looked the last couple of weeks. I just think that the playbook looked more versatile. It looked deeper than in games past. So I'm not owing Matt Canada an apology. I think we should all chip in to get him a Canadian geese, not, like the Canadian goose jacket, but maybe like a little flock of some Canadian geese, like just geese from Canada. Not jumping the gun here. Only 23 points. The Las Vegas Raiders are a better team than people think, but still, nonetheless, they're not a phenomenal defense. But hey, a win is a win, and I'm certainly going to take it, and I know Pittsburgh is certainly going to take it. So before we get any further into tonight's video, if you guys enjoy, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with a couple of Steelers videos every single week. Steelers fans, love you guys as always. If we could get 500 likes on tonight's video for this victory, I would really appreciate it. So at the end of the day, there's a lot to be excited about. First things first, 0 turnovers. Just kind of music to my ears. Kenny Pickett, 16 of 28. And keep in mind, there are injuries on this team, right? Still no Deontay Johnson, still no wide receiver 1. Kenny Pickett, 16 of 28, 235 yards and 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 8.4 yards per attempt. Najee Harris, 19 carries, 65 yards, still just around that 3.4 yards per carry mark. But I do want to say, I think Najee Harris tonight looked a lot more like Najee Harris from, like last season, and just the Najee Harris we all know and love. I don't think people should look into this box score all that much, because the eye test is really all that matters, in my opinion. Yes, I do like statistics. Who doesn't? But with that being said, I have a weird feeling that the media is going to try and twist this around to wow, Pittsburgh only put up 23 points against the Las Vegas Raiders defense. Buffalo just dropped 40 on them. Things are still not smooth sailing for Pittsburgh, but that's not the point. We're in week 3, or Pittsburgh's now in week 4. You don't need to be smooth sailing. That offensive line still takes time. Kenny Pickett still takes time. Keep in mind, man, Kenny Pickett's still a young quarterback. The dude's going to make mistakes. He still has lessons to learn. But at the end of the day, he did exactly what I needed him to tonight. Throwing the ball, distributing the ball, 4 catches, 75 yards for Mr. George Pickens. But Calvin Austin III, man, Calvin's one of these players. Steelers fans, when I first started making Steelers videos early on in the summer, everybody's just talking about Calvin Austin III. When you do a little bit of digging, you see it. He missed his entire rookie season on the IR. The dude at Memphis was a freaking stud. And so we talked on this channel, and a lot of Steelers fans talked about Calvin Austin III all season as well. We talked about his playmaking ability and his crazy speed. Just adding extra layers, more dimensions for Matt Canada and this Pittsburgh Steelers offense. We've also pinpointed the special teams. We almost saw it. We saw a little bit of it by Calvin Austin. If you guys remember my prediction, I said Calvin will run one back by week 6. We're still waiting on that, but nonetheless, I like what I said. I think a penalty brought that punt return back, but still Calvin Austin III, the big play for him tonight was the, 72-yard touchdown pass. Beautiful throw by Kenny Pickett. Beautiful route by Calvin Austin III. You cannot keep up with his speed. And what does that mean? Well, if I'm going to throw Calvin Austin a deep threat, that's going to leave the middle of the field wide open for guys like George Pickens. Pat Freiermuth, who also had a touchdown. I forget, the Muth is loose. The Muth is officially loose. What else is it? Calvin Austin's running the strip in Las Vegas still. I forget what the NFL was putting up. They were putting out some funny highlight titles. But yeah, Calvin Austin III, 6 targets. We saw plenty of flashes. We saw a lot of it in preseason. We saw a little bit in the first 2 weeks of the regular season. But, that Pittsburgh Steelers offense just wasn't firing really on too many cylinders. So Calvin Austin, 2 catches, 6 targets. But he did have the 72-yard touchdown. The catch, which was, it was beautiful. It's what every single Steelers fans envisioned when he was drafted, and it's what every Steelers fan envisioned when we were talking about him all summer. So it came to life. Let's go. Pat Freiermuth, 3 catches, 41 yards. This was a guy, in our Pittsburgh Steelers rants in the last couple of weeks, I'm sitting here looking at myself. How does one of the most underrated tight ends in the National Football League have 2 catches, 2 targets for 5 whopping yards? Give him the damn ball. That's what we saw tonight. Only 41 yards, only 3 catches, but he had a great touchdown and he had a big impact on the game. Allen Robinson, finally starting to see a little bit of Allen Robinson, 4 catches, 24 yards. And then we did see Jaylen Warren, 3 catches for 23 yards. I think Jaylen Warren is like a great kind of example for, don't look at stats. Watch the game. If you watch this game, Jaylen Warren was huge for this Pittsburgh Steelers offense, specifically those 3 catches for 23 yards. The dude's just a high IQ football player. It's just a high IQ football player. So finally, let's focus in on the defense. I picked the Pittsburgh Steelers defense immediately in fantasy football for a good reason. I mean, they won the game against Cleveland this past Monday. They come out striking again. Levi Wallace with 2 interceptions, Patrick Peterson with an interception. I know Jimmy's thrown, I think he's up to 7 picks on the season now. I know he's thrown a lot this season, but Jimmy G is not known for throwing interceptions. The Raiders offense, all the way up until pretty much the end of the game, had nothing really going at all offensively. Guys like TJ Watt making his impact. 2 sacks tonight. TJ Watt's the best defensive player in the league, by the way, in case anybody was curious. Keanu Benton, welcome to the league. He had a great sack, the rookie out of Wisconsin. And then you also had Marcus Golden with a sack. So you had 4 total sacks. You had 3 interceptions. It was an excellent defensive game. And we're really kind of seeing this depth. It's something we talked about all offseason. Once again, it's these players like Keanu Benton. It's these players, honestly, like even though he's a rookie, Joey Porter Jr., so many of these players deeper down in the Steelers roster, a lot of them are rookies. A lot of them are young, talented players that are often overlooked. Your average, I don't want to use the Raiders as an example, but they're the perfect example. Your average Raider fan obviously isn't going to know too much about Keanu Benton. That's how deep this team is. This team is extremely deep. So it's a great win. It's just a good win. A win is a win in the National Football League. We always say on this channel, it's not college football. It doesn't matter. It's not going to affect your ranking. A win is a win. This is not college sports. So they're heading over to Houston. Houston's a hot team right now. CJ Stroud can definitely throw that thing around. But Pittsburgh's defense, boy, oh boy, does it look good. And just a little bit of icing on the cake. I mean, we've said it all channel, and I don't mean any disrespect because I've got a ton of family in Baltimore. I've got a ton of family in the state of Maryland. Baltimore, I've never been sold. I've never been sold on Baltimore as a team. They had a brutal, disgusting overtime loss to Gardner Minshew and the Indianapolis Colts at home. Wasn't it at home? So Pittsburgh's looking really good. Even though their offense has yet to fully click, that's something to keep in mind, something to note. I would love to see an explosive game, specifically against Houston. Baltimore's defense is definitely legit. I will give them credit where credit is due. That's not going to be an easy win, but you get the point what I'm saying here. Even though things aren't or haven't been smooth sailing for Pittsburgh, they're coming off back-to-back wins, and this is a team that easily could be 4-1 heading into your bye week. All right, so that's it for tonight. If you guys enjoyed it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. But more importantly, Steelers fans, NFL fans, what were your thoughts on this Steelers team? Give me some thoughts on Matt Canada, and just, what did you think about that offense? Was it a little bit more versatile? Was it a little bit more creative? Let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you had a great weekend, and we will see you next time.